So Spider-Man No Way Home is currently playing in theaters, and guys, it was one of my favorite moments in theater going of my life, you guys. I absolutely loved this movie, and the reaction was almost like a football game. Like, seriously, it was like a stadium up in there, y'all. Everybody was loving what they saw from this movie. So I definitely want to dive into 10 of the greatest moments from Spider-Man No Way Home. Before we dive in though, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the movie, definitely go check out the movie, then come back to this video and we can talk some of our favorite scenes from No Way Home. As we're going through, go ahead and let me know your favorite moments down in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button down below for videos on the latest on movies, TV, with a little sprinkle of anime in there as well, you guys. My name is Leo Rydell, and let's dive into the 10 greatest scenes from Spider-Man No Way Home. Starting with number 10, I'm going with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer. Now, that's not to say that this is the worst scene by any means, but there are just so many scenes in this movie that are absolutely fantastic that unfortunately I do gotta drop the trailer down to the lowest. The trailer is absolutely excellent, guys. I loved what I saw out of Multiverse of Madness. Love that we're getting Wanda back, and they even address Westview in the trailer. Excellent. We're also getting America Chavez, y'all, but the biggest drop in this trailer was that Doctor Strange variant. And the big question here is that Strange Sorcerer Supreme, or is that another variant? Is it potentially the Big M himself, Mephisto? Okay, I know I'm peddling that a little too heavy, but that was such a trippy, fun trailer. I'm really looking forward to how we get into the Multiverse of Madness, because I assumed that the end of No Way Home, when Strange is saying that he can't control or contain what's going on, I assumed that that was going to be the beginning of Multiverse of Madness. I figured that was the beginning right then and there. Now, moving on to number 9, let's go with the other post-credit. And that is Venom showing up in Spider-Man No Way Home. What I love so much about this scene is we don't gotta deal with the Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock, Venom dynamic that we got from Sony. Gotta admit, I'm not quite a fan of those movies, so I was glad they cut it out. So because of that, I was happy that he went home to his universe. Now, he got the Venom symbiote, and we see him disappear from the universe, and that symbiote stays there. Not to mention the actor who plays Danny Rojas in Ted Lasso is in the scene. I'm wondering if maybe he'll be a host of some kind, maybe not, but maybe so. Don't know entirely what's gonna happen, if they're gonna do a new Eddie Brock, a new original host. I'm really looking forward to what the MCU does with Venom, but I'm glad we don't have to keep Tom Hardy's Venom. I just think it doesn't quite fit with where the Spider-Man franchise is going. So I'm going that for my number 8. For number 8, I'm going with a mention, and I just absolutely love this mention so much, and I think the theater loved it so much as well. I'm going with when Jamie Foxx's Electro mentions a black Spider-Man out there somewhere. Literally, we know Miles Morales exists in Across the Spider-Verse, which is coming up, Into the Spider-Verse. Him addressing that makes the possibility of seeing Miles in a live action all the more real, you guys. I'm so excited to get Miles Morales in this universe, and I cannot wait to see him and Peter Parker in the live action MCU together. That seems like where it's building to, so I hope that's where they're going. I can't wait for that, guys. So let's move on to number 7. And number 7 is the moment that's used in all the trailers, all the film stills, all of the behind the scenes looks, the bridge scene, you guys. I think that opening the film and getting to this pretty quickly, this being our first action heavy sequence besides the swinging, really enjoyed this, because then it establishes that other Peters do exist outside of this universe. Doc Ock and Peter battling, and him just exchanging these quips with Peter, and eventually getting that mask off and seeing this is not the Peter Parker he knows. Absolutely love that scene. I like the action choreography and the way that it's shot. I love that we kind of get back into that Spidey action and feel it in the scene. And then a nice little bonus tease at the end of Green Goblin flying up on his glider. Chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss. So let's move on to number 6. Number 6, I'm going with Matt Murdock's cameo. And let me tell you guys, they did not hesitate to get to this. This is within the first 15-20 minutes of the movie, and they just get right to Matt Murdock, tell us and establish that he is in the MCU. They are going to bring these characters over, It doesn't address, though, if they've been retconned or not. And I definitely think that there's going to be some retconning here, because I just don't think they're going to stay in the same universe and have those same memories with all the Netflix stuff and those shows being canceled. I think that's the end of that continuity of these characters, but I think we're going to get them back. And guys, I am so excited for it. Like, I'm so excited. You guys gotta admit, that was an exciting moment to see Matt Murdock and to see that brick come through the window and he just catches it and he's like, I'm a good lawyer, hire me. Absolutely excellent. It's very in character. It plays to that Matt Murdock Netflix Daredevil personality. Looking forward to that. We have, spoiler alert, Kingpin back in Hawkeye. So we're going to get these characters back, and I'm looking forward to how they reintegrate them with the MCU. So now I'm halfway there, guys. Let's get to our number 5. Now, number 5, really liked, and I actually unfortunately forgot it on this list when I was originally writing it, so I'm replacing it with another number 5. But this has to be addressed, and that's Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saving MJ. I think it's such a redeeming moment for that character. Andrew Garfield steps right back into the role as if he was playing this character yesterday and does an excellent job as this character once again. Now, look, I don't really like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I know some of my people do, so I understand. I'm not a big fan. I think that's the worst of the series to me, but I did love Andrew Garfield in this movie. He's having so much fun. You can tell he's happy to be back in the role. You can tell he's just really delivering and really bringing the emotion and gravity of Gwen's death to this universe, and I loved it, guys. I love that he got the chance to save someone. He couldn't save his Gwen, but he got to save his Peter's MJ. Wonderful moment. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, I am going with Spidey moments, and I'm actually going to just mix in their moments on the rooftop and in the lab. I love those moments where they're in the lab and they are having all these little nuanced moments of Peter Parker. You know, we're seeing them tinkering and using science and technology with one another, but also the 3 Peters thing, hilarious. Just getting to see them freak out over Tobey Maguire's web, and also talk about the Avengers and talk about how he got the organic web and villains and who they faced. And these little quips and runs are so funny, and the comedic timing is really good, and the line exchanges are absolutely incredible. I love Tom, Andrew, and Tobey being on screen together. I think that is so much fun, and it's just beautiful for a Spider-Man fan to enjoy. So definitely got to go that with my number 4. Let's move on to number 3, and it is the most emotional, in my opinion, moment in the movie, and that's Aunt May. Aunt May's death, guys. Gosh, isn't that so upsetting? Like, Aunt May, losing Aunt May, who we haven't lost in the Raimi trilogy, we didn't lose in the Web duology. Having to lose her here was just so hard, because we've been through several different Spider-Man live action series with Aunt May. We've always had an Aunt May. There's always been an Aunt May to turn to. And so because of that reason, I've thought about it more, and I do think that that's a good reason to leave out Uncle Ben, because you then introduce another meaningful character death. For Andrew Garfield's, it was Gwen. For Tobey Maguire's, it was Uncle Ben. You introduce a third character death for this Spider-Man to relate and to feel and to really change his life. So the gravity of that loss really changed his life. And I think that if it was just Uncle Ben again, it would just play to the same fiddle as the other Spider-Man have. So I really like that decision. The great power comes great responsibility, and her saying the full line, with great power also must come great responsibility. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Using the full line from the comic, well done. Great job by Marissa Tomei, acting and really making us feel like Aunt May was gonna be okay. And then when she wasn't, man, heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking, guys. Like, every time I see it, I cry. I get teary-eyed just knowing where it's gonna go. But the glider flying and hitting her like crazy moment. Great moment in the movie, and I just absolutely loved it. Now, moving on to my number 2 moment of the movie. Number 2 moment is when Andrew and Tobey step through those portals. I mean, seriously, guys, that was, like I said about a football arena, that was the moment when the applause went wild, guys, and when we finally realized what we were getting here. Because I gotta admit, leading up to it, I wasn't sure if they were gonna go that far, but when they did, It meant so much to the story and so much to the movie, and didn't take away from Tom's character whatsoever. It only added to it. So the fan servicey feeling didn't really come through in this movie because it was for the story. So it was incredibly done, well executed. Bringing them in, and Andrew first, then Toby, having Ned open the spell and actually seeing another Spider-Man, and Andrew just kind of like peeking through, and it's like, is that Andrew? Is that Andrew? Presenting him in the dark. It was just all super well done. Having them use the spider powers against each other and the funny line exchanges, really well done. Them coming in was absolutely incredible. And now I've got some ties, but I just want to go into honorable mentions that I absolutely feel like should have been on this list, but there's just so much that I couldn't cram them on. That's the MJ kiss moment between her and Peter. Another moment is just the whole battle between all the villains and things like that. Any of the battles, the battle in the tower over at the apartment, that battle, the battle at the end at Statue of Liberty, really great. Those are moments that I probably could have put in this top 10, but the emotional moments just hit harder in this movie for me, so I got them in the honorable mentions. But the number one moment of this movie is when you get all three Spider-Men on the Statue of Liberty, and then they all run off of the platform and jump and swing, and you get Tom's Spider-Man swinging the other two up. What a fantastic moment. I mean, seriously, everything's good about it. Visually, story-wise, it's all so beautiful. And then at the same time, the moment when they embrace and they hug before the other two Peters come back. Another honorable mention is all of them going back, but that moment, those two moments are easily my number one favorite moments of the movie. And I got one more number one that I gotta mention: the rooftop meeting. Just how emotional it was for all three Spider-Men to finally meet and to be able to relate to one another and feel the way they feel. So crazy. I absolutely love those moments. Those are my top three. My number one has three moments. I get it. But yes, those are my number one moments and my top 10 moments from No Way Home. Guys, I know there are plenty of other moments, tons and tons of others. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What are some of your greatest moments from No Way Home? Now that most of us have seen it, I can't wait to rewatch. So you guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and we will see you next time on Geekly Goods.